Welcome to Phil Wilson Chats with Celebrities. And here's your host, Phil Wilson.
70s Glam Rock is back with two founders of the Rubettes, celebrating 50 years since they topped the UK charts and have recently stormed the Heritage Chart top 10 with their new single, Born to Do It. And two founder members of the 70s glam rock band, the Rubettes, namely Mick Clarke is on bass and vocals, and John Richardson is on drums and vocals. Also are joined by Mark Wright on guitar and vocals, and Steve Etherington on keys and vocals, and the wonderful Mick Clarke from Sugar Baby Love. I should say Sugar Baby Loves it is, because there's two of yous, joins me now. How are you doing, Mick?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Phil. Lovely to join you anyway. And yeah, good fun. Thanks.
Yeah, it's great to speak to you because I've always been a fan of that tune, Sugar Baby.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And all that. And I always look, and I'll tell you one of my big favourites as well is the Jukebox Drive, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Now, for listeners just discovering your music, as if they've been on another planet, please can you tell us when your love of music began when you were growing up?
Yeah, well, like a lot of people, we grew up in the 60s and everything was absolutely wonderful. Everyone was in love with music and it was just infectious. Everybody wanted to play guitar, be in a band. And that was it, really. And like a lot of millions of other kids, we all sort of started playing.
And were you musical at school at all?
Not from an instrument point of view, but I always enjoyed music. I always used to try and sing. You know, when it was singing, I'd be louder than a lot of people and thinking, just enjoy myself.
Excellent. I like to have a bit of a nice sing-song in the assembly hall and that, you know. Yeah. And that's what they used to do, didn't they? You used to go to school. First thing would be you go into your assembly there and then they would do the register and it like eased you into the day, didn't it? But now it's just you're in and that's it.
Yeah, I've no idea. Yeah, it was a different era, weren't it?
It definitely was. Now, when did you learn how to play bass?
Well, as I was saying, really, it was like a lot of friends and that. Everybody wanted to play guitar because that was a thing. And a friend of mine had a guitar, but I used to say, "Can I have a go?" And he used to say, "Oh, you can borrow it if you like for a few." And he wasn't interested.
Right.
He had a guitar, and I loved it and didn't have one. So that started me off really, and then at school, then as we were teenagers, it was like suddenly joining up and you know forming a little school band.
And when you were growing up, who were your idols? Was it like people like Billy Fury and Elvis and things like that?
Yeah, all the rock and roll stuff has sort of come out, and that changed everything for everybody. And then Cliff and the Shadows, and then of course the Beatles come along and everything exploded again. Yeah. And so it was just like a momentous time in music at that particular period, I think.
And everybody tended to have a guitar in their hand. And even into the 70s, we had Roger Whittaker there with his guitar as well.
Yeah, I mean, everybody suddenly had a guitar. Guitars, you could buy them like everywhere was selling guitars.
And my dad, he actually had guitar lessons when I was growing up, and the guy used to come round and do lessons for him there. But he picked up a bit of it, you know. But you know, I don't think he's picked up a guitar now for about 40 years.
Well, there's lots of people I know that have got guitars and they just have it in the corner. It's a bit of therapy that now and again they pick it up and have a go. And so that's the power of music, isn't it? I think, you know, people just love music, all kinds. Everybody's got a choice favourites and so on, you know. And great, why not, you know?
Exactly. I think these days, a lot of the music that's around, like no matter what era it's from, you can speak to, a kid on the street, as it were, and they would probably be listening to things like Elvis or music from the 60s, 70s, 80s. It's like there's no, that for some reason, it's like, it's all universal now. The world has completely changed, because I remember being at school and people would say, "Oh, you like music? You like." I was born in 1977, so people would say, "Oh, well, why do you like the Rolling Stones and why do you like the Beatles?" That sad kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But now people's attitudes have totally changed, which is just amazing. And the stuff that's around, I think there's more folk music in the charts at the minute than anything else. But the kids wouldn't say it's called folk music, like Ed Sheeran stuff.
No, well, again, as you were saying, it's like everybody was suddenly enjoying music. But, the funny thing is when youngsters, say, "Oh, well, that's doing Elvis."
Yeah.
But like before Elvis, no one knew what it was.
Exactly. That's right, because there was no rock and roll. You see, there was nothing.
Yeah.
You had your Bill Haley and the Comets and such like, and your Buddy Holly. But then things didn't really kick in until your Elvis and such.
Yeah,
like.
he just took over the world, didn't he, and changed everybody's life. And that's what I think anyway.
Definitely, you did.
Even the Beatles and all the Stones, they all sort of acknowledged Elvis and Elvis's backup band, and it just influenced everything.
It did, and he still influences people today as well, which is great news. Like yourselves as well, because when you were younger, were you in any other bands before the Rubettes?
I was in a band called. I was in the Tremolos for a short time.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, so, and then I was with a band called the Cymbals, and that was the band that we used to come up and play Stockton Fiesta, South Shields, what was it called? The Baileys.
Baileys, wow, that's amazing.
There was a big sort of nightclub circuit in the northeast, so spent a lot of time up there, and we'd be on with all sorts of people. It was like amazing time. Really was, So I was very fortunate that I was with that band, and we had sort of not great success, but we was quite popular, and we had a small couple of hits, but never really cracked it.
It might have been a bit like when Geordie came out, because they were generally just known, they were well known in only certain parts, and maybe they weren't known, maybe, down the country kind of thing. It was so strange, because different kinds of music wasn't really accessible unless it was getting played on the radio, and then you would probably go on a tour, wherever, depending on how sales were going and things in the record shops and things. So and I hear that a Northeast comedian, Bobby Thompson, apparently he was you's the star. Was Bobby Thompson the star on the stage?
No, we went on thinking we were the stars. Doing a club in the northeast, and it was absolutely jammed. And we said, "We're on with someone called Bobby Thompson. Who's that?" And then we realised that it was packed out, because he was the one they'd all come to see. And probably when we went after him, after people had getting drinks at the bar and relaxing, and we was thinking, "Wow."
Yes, Ela went. Did he go, "How are you? Nice to be back here"?
Well, do you know what? For us, he had such a strong accent that we found it difficult to understand, and the people are all crying with laughter, and we thought, wow, whatever he's doing a fantastic job, but he had such a broad accent that for us it was difficult, understand. I think he had a little cigarette, didn't he? He always
had Woodbines. And he used to have a little thing of Woodbines, and apparently, I think he used to say, people greed them off you. And he used to have the same pack of Woodbines, and he would only have one as he was on the stage, or maybe two. He never saw light another.
Yeah, I think I can't remember, it's such a long time, but I seem to remember him having one, but he never actually, it was just a prop, you know.
It was a prop, it just smoked away and he just went, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing because I thought, wow, and I was joining in, laughing because it was so infectious. The people were actually crying tears.
Crying with laughter.
I thought, wow, this guy is like phenomenal up here, and we had never heard of him.
No. Well, I'm sure he sold about 1 million copies of his record, The Little Waster. So you might have to, you could brush up on your Geordie accent by getting a copy of The Little Waster from Bobby Thompson there.
Wow, yeah, I probably need to see him with subtitles now.
Yes, they'll have to release a DVD of it with subtitles on.
Yeah.
I've got the DVD, but there's no subtitles.
No, but I'm saying for us sort of foreigners.
Oh, yes, for people who are just south of Newcastle.
Yeah. No, exactly. Well, we wonder why we hadn't heard of him, and people were saying, well, he's so popular up in that part
up in the northeast. Yeah,
they thought, I'm okay. I've got no ego. I'm just happy to enjoy life up here. And he could have gone around the country and probably thought, well, I'd have to change my, show.
His style, because it was all associated with like the northeast of England.
Yeah, it was a very localised sort of.
It is. It's the kind of humour, you see.
Yeah, I got it, and the people. I told you, the people were absolutely packed out, jammed, all crying with laughter. I'm thinking, wow, whatever he's doing, he's doing it right.
Exactly. So you are playing to a nice audience there, which was a bonus for you there.
Yeah.
Now, how and when did the Rubettes form?
Well, say I was with the Cymbals, and we'd sort of been around, and we'd been to America and done everything. We were recording with Mickey Most. I don't know if you remember Mickey Most.
Indeed, yes, Rock Records, yes.
Yeah, and Susie was on his label after us. Anyway, and believe it or not, we had Peter Grant, who was Pink Floyd's manager before he managed Pink Floyd. We couldn't get a hit. Mickey Most done about 3 records with us, and he picked them.
Yeah,
and we had. Anyway, and then we sort of thought, well, perhaps we're just not going to happen, you know. So we sort of split up, and then suddenly the Rubettes happened, and I thought, wow. 1 minute you're sort of struggling and thinking, oh well, you know, I've missed the bus,
missed the boat, yeah.
And then fate plays a hand, and there we was, number 1.
Absolutely amazing. Now, I believe you've got a story to tell about who was given an opportunity to sing Sugar Baby Love ahead of yourselves. Yeah,
well, the guys that wrote it were Tony Waddington and Wayne Bickerton. And we found out later that what had happened, they had recorded the song, and they were trying to get a band like to do it. It was a demo.
Yeah.
And Tony said to me, he said, we ended up flying to Newcastle, driving out to South Shields to see this band at Bailey's called Waddy Waddy. He said, so I spent like 2 days to go up there, and they just turned us down and said, no, not interested, mate, you know. And he said, I was thinking, what have we done? We've wasted 2 days coming up there, and why couldn't we have done it over the phone? Anyway, and then because they turned it down, in the end, I think, who's the guy from the Cole Wayne from The Move?
Right, wow.
We done a show with him, and he said, I turned it down. He said, and wow, he said, how wrong was I, you know? Anyway, but because they turned it down, they said, well, we're gonna do a band, and we're gonna, you know, release the record. And so I was one of the lucky guys to be there, you know.
That's absolutely amazing, that story. It's amazing how fate can lend a hand there, because the story could have been totally different.
Yeah, and even to that extent, when the record was out and it was getting quite decent airplay, but just wasn't sort of just making enough to make an impact.
Yeah.
And then what was it? Top of the Pops. We were on the short list at Top of the Pops, depending on where the record went.
Yes.
And then Sparks had their record out. This town isn't big enough for both of us.
For the both of us, yeah.
And then they got invited to do Top of the Pops. They didn't have work permits.
Oh, my goodness.
And so Top of the Pops said, right, who's on the list next? Rubettes.
Absolutely amazing, that is.
So we got our break because they couldn't get a work permit.
A work permit.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious me. That's an excellent story, that. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, absolutely true. I mean, we just, as you say, you can't make it up, you know. It sounds like a film script, but it's all true.
And it all happened. I know. I mean, it's just amazing how things happened there for you for Top of the Pops. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
But we're going to pick up from that a little bit later on. Now, who decided on the fashion for the band? Was it a joint effort, or did the record label have a say? Because I can see some costumes behind you there.
Well, I was, believe it or not, I don't know if you can see.
Yeah.
I'll just get up.
Yeah, we can see.
This is the original one that was on Top of the Pops.
Wow, that's amazing, that.
And see, it's even got my name on the inside.
Hey.
Anyway, what I was going to say, sorry, was strangely enough very similar to, in addition to the story I was just relating about Top of the Pops.
Yeah.
Top of the Pops happened, and suddenly we thought, wow, what are we going to wear?
Yeah.
We didn't know, and we'd actually done some photo promos with drapes, a bit like Shawaddy Waddy.
Yes.
And I've even got them upstairs.
With the collar and everything, and they had the cuffs, didn't they?
Yeah, all the cuffs and everything. And they said, oh, no, it's too Shawaddy Waddy. We you know. And then we went down to the shop in central London, because Polydor Records, who released it, right at the end of their road was the major tailors, outfitters.
Right.
And so we literally went out the record company, walked down, and they'd look in their window, and in the window was white suits. And,
wow.
and white hats.
And we'll love that. Yes, that'll bring back memories for a lot of fans there. For people who are listening on the radio there, you'll be able to see this on YouTube, this interview, eventually. But he's, Mick's wearing one of the hats there. It's like I was going to call it a beret, but it's not at all. It's a beret with except it's with a thing at the front, like a
peak.
A peak. But it's fabulous.
But and again, that was in the window. It was there was a film called The Great Gatsby, Robert Redford, and that was the fashion from the film. And so there was this white suit in the window with the white hats, and we went in and we went, right, we'll have half a dozen of them.
That's excellent. Excellent. And whose idea was it to have Rubettes put on the back of the jackets there?
Well, I can't remember. I think they were just trying to make them a little bit more than just a straight white jacket.
Yes.
You know? So we had a tailor, someone knew a tailor, David his name was, and he come up, and I think he was doing it in Top of the Pop studio, like sewing and trying to sew these red bits on, and you know,
excellent. Trying to get all the needlework done before you do your rehearsal.
Yeah, and it's literally pinning. We went on with like all pins in the back and everything because we just bought them all off the shelf, you know. And so some fitted all right, and some were a bit baggier, and he was pinning and sewing, and. Yeah, I mean, that was it. Again, it was just a stroke of luck or fate, whatever you want to call it.
Well, you could have been singing Needles and Pins, you know.
Yeah.
You could have.
But I mean, just we just walked out the record company down to the shop, and there it was, and we said, right, we'll have those.
That's absolutely amazing. I mean, it seems that everything is like it's like amazing how this story is unfolding there, because everything is like had some kind of a chain reaction there from originally.
Exactly,
it's amazing.
It is, and that was actually how it happened, and we thought, wow, I've been sort of trying to like get lucky, if you like, with recording things, and nothing happens, and suddenly it falls in your lap.
I can see a film in this. Excellent. Now, the suits there, do they still fit you?
No, I'm not sure. No.
They
were all pinned at the time and taken in to make.
Of course.
But I've probably got a little bit more now. But
yeah, a bit like me. I've got a bit of middle-aged starting there. I need to stop the takeaways. So, talking about Top of the Pops, what was it like appearing on there, and who were you on with?
Well, in actual fact, I got a feeling we were on with and I might be wrong on the actual, because we done it quite a few times, but I seem to remember Peter Gabriel, Genesis.
Wow.
I Know What I Like in My Wardrobe. I don't know if you know that song.
Right.
And believe it or not, Queen.
Hey, my goodness.
With Seven Seas of Rye.
Seas of Rye, yes, I was going to say that one.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, and we've done one with McCartney, like Wings.
Amazing.
And, I think, I'm not sure, we might have done some with Slade and Mud, and probably Shiwaddy Waddy, because at the time we were all pretty much competitors, if you know what I mean.
Indeed. And what did you all have a nice bit of time in the BBC bar there?
Well, it was I think we didn't really know each other like we do now, and we're all
right.
sort of friends and that. But at the time, it was like, oh, look at there's Mud over there. Look at them. Who they think?
Excellent. And what number are they going to be this week?
Yeah, well, how's their record doing?
That's right. Yeah. We need to get the management onto that. Yeah. What's the secret? Now, are there any funny moments you can tell us about, either on TV or on stage?
Oh, funny moments. Well, there's probably quite a few of them. I'm trying to think. I don't know if it's a funny moment. Well, I'll tell you anyway, and you can decide. We done a TV show in Germany, and it was a 70s theme.
Right.
And we were waiting to do our sort of rehearsal bit. Yeah. They'd done a sort of rehearsal before the show.
Yeah.
And they were playing ABBA.
Right.
As a background music. And because it was... This is a bit later now. I'm not quite sure the chronological, but there was Star Wars characters dressed up,
right?
Stormtroopers, and Darth Vader, and they were all dancing to Dancing Queen.
Hilarious!
And I thought, wow, this is surreal.
My goodness, it's amazing what people laugh at, isn't it?
I know. I actually took a picture of it, and I got a picture of me with Darth Vader and a couple of stormtroopers after. I just thought, I've got to be done,
Exactly. Well, I suppose we'll laugh. People watch The Masked Singer, don't they? So
yeah,
it would be equivalent to that, really.
Yeah, I mean, it was just bizarre. It was all Darth Vader and stormtroopers all dancing around.
To Dancing Queen. Oh, I love that. That's excellent.
Oh dear.
Hey, Lordy, I love it. Now, what was the biggest venue you performed at, and are there any memorable moments you can tell us about with the Rubettes?
Well, we did quite a lot of the big venues in Germany because it was quite a big thing where we would be on with Susie, Sweet,
Susie Quattro,
Waddy Waddy, and a few of them at Chubby Checker. They used to have these big all-day fairs, and it would be actually where the football is now in Dortmund.
Right.
And playing to 60,000, you know.
Oh my goodness!
And they were doing, and it was such a big deal at the time. And they would have, you'd actually end up doing like 20 minutes. The Searchers would be on, the 60s bands, you know, and everything. The Tremolos.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it was just fantastic. So, and that became a sort of bit of a regular occurrence, you know.
And did they televise it at all?
They probably did in Germany, yeah.
Yeah. Because it sounds like a massive big deal there, especially when you've got that kind of a crowd.
They were all sponsored by the local TV and the local radio. It was a really big weekend, you know. Sometimes might be 2 days of it, you know.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, I hope they've got some recordings of that, because that would be fun to watch, wouldn't it? And maybe even if it was a radio broadcast of, you know, the gig there, it would be great, because I play a lot of live stuff on my shows, and like from the past kind of thing, and it would be great to get a copy of that. We'll have to have a look for that one, I think.
Yeah,
Nick.
well, you can find so much now, can't you, where things are suddenly, people did take them, you know, and you think, wow. I've never seen. I mean, sometimes people send things to me, and you think, well, I've never seen that before. You know.
Yes.
I mean, it's a different era then, you know, and here we are now. Everybody's got their phones out.
That's right. They have. Yes. So yes, you're always on candid camera.
Yeah.
No matter where you go.
I went and saw a few years back. I went and saw McCartney at Glastonbury.
Wow.
And Adele. And so you can see it all about a day later, it's all on YouTube, you know. In fact, Sunday I went and saw Shania Twain with my son in Hyde Park. And like Excellent. Now you can already see it's, you know, the different songs.
Yes.
Spontaneous sort of TV programs.
Hey, my goodness. Well, I'll tell you what I've come across, actually. There's somebody who was singing some of the Rubettes stuff just recently. I think I saw it on TikTok or Instagram or something. I was thinking, that's amazing, because I'm going to be speaking to Mick.
Oh, wow.
So you'll probably see that at some point when you're on social media and such like. Now, what we're talking about ABBA earlier on, and it's probably a bit of a sore point for them, this one, because can you believe it's 50 years since the Rubettes knocked ABBA's Waterloo off the top spot after only 2 weeks, and Hughes scored 4 weeks at the top. What was it like getting the news you had trumped the recent Eurovision winners to the top spot?
Well, it was fantastic, obviously. I mean, the reality was ABBA was new to everybody then. So they were like contemporaries of us, if you like, you know.
Yeah.
They were new, we were new. And they were off of Eurovision, which at the time was always had that sort of
the little bit of
sort of situation. So but the strange thing was like when we went to Germany and Europe after the initial success, we actually ended up going out to dinner with ABBA one night because we were on the same label in Germany.
Oh, amazing.
And they were lovely people, you know, and listen, they're fantastic songs. I mean, they've really stood the test of time, haven't they? Everybody loves them. Everybody
certainly do. They do, and everybody is going to love your new single as well, which we're going to talk about soon. Now, was it a big celebration after hearing the news that you'd got that number one?
What, in 1974?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We was absolutely shocked because it had literally gone from like nowhere to sort of number one. And we thought, is this possible? Like, am I pinching myself?
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it was absolutely wonderful news. Again, surreal. You think, wow, is this what happens or am I dreaming, you know?
It's great. It's great that. Now, who has the disc certifying your number one on the wall, or did you get one each?
No, we got one each.
And, that's good.
Yeah, so if I was in the other room, I could sort of show you me records. So yeah, I've still got them, and that was a big thrill, obviously, you know, to get a gold record and a silver record and a platinum record, and yeah, just wonderful.
Excellent. It's great that you've got them up on the wall there, because some artists, I think, they put them in the loft and things, and they need to be out there on show because they're a talking point, aren't they?
Yeah, I know, but I suppose, you know, well, yeah, I know what you mean, but you don't want to sort of put them on your door entrance, as it were, do you know?
No, you don't. That's right. You'd want them like lining up the staircase and things, unless they are.
Oh, yeah, this is a funny story. I was, you know, Bruce Welsh of the Shadows.
Yeah.
Well, I met up with him a few years back now. And we were having a drink round his house, and he's got a gold record in his toilet.
That's great. And what's the song?
Well, this is the thing. It's a gold record of Lonnie Donegan.
Great.
And, well, I shouldn't, well, I won't tell you. Anyway, you can edit it out if it's not right. I said to him, Bruce, I said, there must be a story behind the gold record of Lonnie Donegan.
Yeah.
He said, there is. He said, because he's from the Northeast, isn't he, Bruce Welsh?
He is. Yeah.
He said, I was outside the theatre. I think it was, what's it? It might be Darlington, or one of the theatres where the acts used to go and go the tours, you know.
Yes.
He said Lonnie Donegan was on. And he said, I was a big Lonnie Donegan fan because that's how a lot of people started with the guitar.
Yeah.
So he said, I'm waiting outside for his autograph. And he said, and he walked in, and I said, oh, Mr. Donegan, and he went, oh, I'll do it when I'm afterwards.
Yes,
he said, I waited for the whole show to go through. And he come out, and I said, Mr. Donegan, he said, oh, F off, son, I ain't got time.
Great.
So, but then later, he said I got to know him because he was a little... And he said, oh, do you remember that? And Lonnie Donegan said, I'll tell you what, I'll give you one of my albums. I'm so embarrassed.
Great. That's excellent.
What a fantastic story.
I wonder if it's the Cumberland Gap.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's, you know, like you sort of think, wow, it's an album, a gold album. I thought, Donegan, what's that doing there?
That's a great story. I love it.
And he's another Northeastern guy, isn't he, Bruce? You know, him and
yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Absolutely great story. I love it. I love that story. Now, did you do anything to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Sugar Baby Love by the Rubettes on May the 4th, 2024?
Well, we just sort of basically wished each other, you know, good health and that. But as you perhaps know, there's been a bit of a court case, so
that's right. So I haven't. That's why I'm not going to mention that. But it seems everything has been amicable at the, you know, now. So you know, everyone's able to,
if you like, yeah, okay.
If you like. Now, with that single, that was a number one there, Sugar Baby Love there. Tonight was your next single, scoring number 12 in July 1974, and followed that up in November 74 with the fabulous Jukebox Jive, which scored a number 3 hit. Did you have a feeling that it was going to be a hit?
Well, yeah, I mean, we thought it was a very commercial track, if you like. I know it sounds like a bit of a cliche, but the real irony was we actually thought Tonight was going to be a bigger hit, but the BBC were on strike.
Oh no!
And so there was no Top of the Pops.
So there was no way of like using that vehicle in order to publicise.
Yeah, I mean, and as you probably are aware, Top of the Pops was the show to get.
Definitely.
And if you were on that, it was almost guaranteed to give it a big boost. And because the other thing was, in those days, it was only like almost one radio station.
That's right. Yeah.
There wasn't the local or anything. It was just Radio 1 and that was it. So that was the only way to promote, you know.
Yeah.
That was very difficult. And that's why we think that Tonight only got to number 12. So, but then we come back with a bang with Jukebox Jive, and say we ended up the top 3. So, yeah.
Yes, it was because it was just so strange how when you look at the when you look at your singles, it's like it was down, and then I just couldn't believe it. But yes, you've explained there that it was the BBC on strike there, so the Top of the Pops music vehicle wasn't there for you. So yeah, it just proves how really important that show was, you know.
Yeah,
and even if it was, I mean, even what upset me is when it all finished, Top of the Pops, even though. Fair enough, they'd sometimes do Christmas, like Christmas specials and things and that. But I thought it was devastating because a lot of the artists now, I know fair enough, we've got all the social media going on and things like that, but I still think that a lot of people have lost out, really, who maybe people who aren't affair with social media, and if they had that kind of vehicle, I think it would still work to this day.
Yeah, I mean, it was I guess it was a very simple formula, and like, you know, as you probably know only too well, is the new people come in, new, and they go, well, let's change it. But if it's not broken, why we change it? And it was very simple. If you were going up, you were on, and if you were going down, then it was on to the new ones again, you know.
Yes,
It just reflected popular opinion at the time. It gave you the chart rundown, and that was all it was. You know, you had the new entries and all that going up.
Yeah.
Then suddenly someone said, "Oh, no, it's a bit. You know, you need to liven it up." And well, no, not really.
No, definitely not. I mean, really, that was like entertainment in your living room. And now, fair enough, people are going online watching things and all that. But I think there still should be a program like that on the television that you could actually sit and watch on a Saturday night. Because I would certainly watch it. I know BBC Two have done, you know, like Top of the Pops 2 and things like that.
Yeah,
well, they used to. Yeah. They used to with the late Steve Wright doing voiceovers and things like that. But I think that definitely is something that needs to come back.
I know, but you know, it's like a lot of things. People suddenly think, "Oh, that's a bit passé now, and we need to move on." And you think, "Well, with what?" You know?
Exactly.
And then they try something, it don't work. I mean, listen, what do I know? But did you see the thing about Ken? What's his name? Who's the DJ who's just been on Radio 2?
Oh, Ken Bruce.
Ken Bruce, yeah, he's had a bit of a go about Radio 2, trying to spread their listening, if you know what I mean.
Oh, that's right. Well, they want to do like have a greatest hits kind of format.
Yeah, but I'm saying they change, and suddenly the figures have gone down.
That's right.
And now they're trying to do it more like Radio 1, and Radio 1's trying to do it a bit like Radio 2 to grab a bit. You think,
Yeah, it's like I mean, I think it's all jobs for the boys and things coming in and then just wrecking the whole place. And obviously we've got some DJs that are going back to the BBC. I think Mark Goodyear, he's just gone back there, so we'll just have to see what happens in any case, because he's doing a bit of the pick of the pops. But I'm sure we're allowed to mention that on this radio station. I pay my licence fee.
But it used to be a bit one of those sort of, again, it was like a sort of iconic sort of names, wasn't it? Used to be Alan Freeman, and it would be a regular thing, check in and you find out the chart rundown.
That's right. And
it's so simple formula, but, then someone said, well, we don't really want that anymore. Mind you, having said that, I mean, I don't know what you feel. It's sort of the music business is like they've kicked themselves or shot themselves in the leg, haven't they?
They have, definitely.
You can't go and buy a record anymore. You can't buy a CD. Well, you can get CDs in a few shops, and
apparently the CDs are making a comeback, and I've been on the trail of, because I had a feeling about maybe 8 or 9 years ago, I had a feeling that the vinyl revival was going to start, hence doing Phil Wilson's Vinyl Revival radio show for all them years. And I've always said to my listeners, yous out there, I've always said that it would be great to actually have a chart which has stars that are actually releasing everything on vinyl, no downloads whatsoever, and then see who are the people out there that are the stars. Because if you go out to buy a record, then that means that you are definitely into the music. If you do get a download, you could download a single 10 times, and that might help your chart position. And it's better if you've got a physical vinyl, and now these days what you can do is there'll be some kind of thing that they'll be able to do, never mind scanning barcodes and things. There'll be something that'll make sure that the chart is exactly correct with vinyl sales, and that is what we need, because I've always said that we need that.
I'm absolutely with you, but we can cross our fingers, but I don't know how they're going to sort of change from what it is now. I mean, when I was looking at the charts the other day, a few months back, and I thought, my God, there's so many charts all over the world, and download charts and video charts and this area and all genres of music. And I thought, oh, yeah, I wonder if we, like we'd had quite a lot of good downloads.
Yeah.
But I looked at the chart, Taylor Swift was at the top. Yeah. She had 87 million.
Oh,
so I thought, there's not much chance for us.
Well, you'd get it. You'll get in the top 100, surely.
Top 1,000. I mean, again, do you remember a guy called Peter Frampton?
Yes, I do. Yes, Baby, I Love Your Way, Freebird.
Yeah. He actually put a photo up on YouTube. You could probably find it. And he had a picture of him holding a check that he just received from having 47 million hits. And it was for like, I don't know, $1,500.
Oh, goodness.
And he was saying...
It's amazing where all the money goes, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I wonder where.
I know, exactly. Now we're going to follow on with what we're talking about the Rubettes hits there, and another 5 top hits followed on from Jukebox Jive, and in 1976 there was Up on the Roof. And the Rubettes' final top 40 single came in 1977 with Baby I Know, which reached number 10 in the UK. Was this single actually written as a goodbye, as the band could see the music landscape was changing, as you certainly did go out on a high?
Well, thank you very much. No, I think it was just the band was evolving.
Yeah.
And so we were just finding our feet, I think, a little bit, rightly or wrongly. And John, our drummer, wrote it, and we recorded it and thought, wow, everybody loved it. And because at that time, the Eagles had suddenly become absolutely everybody's favourite.
Yeah.
And so it was just leaning towards country, but not in a sort of, I don't know, it wasn't planned. It was just evolved, you know.
Yeah, because as soon as I saw the video of that, of yours perform on that, I don't think it was on Top of the Pops. It might have been where I've seen it. But when I found out that was your final single, I was like, I felt a little bit sad inside.
I'm trying to do this. Hang on.
No bother.
Andrew. Yeah, I'll call you back. I'm just doing a live broadcast. So I'll call you back in a minute. Thanks, bye. Sorry, Phil, my son. I was trying to turn it off, and I just thought, why ain't it going off? But I've got another phone. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah. Hilarious.
Yeah, sorry about
it. So what I'll do is I'll just rewind back. Hold on. Where was I? Yes, it's on that side of the paper. Hold on. So where shall I pick up from? I'll say
we just talked about Baby I Know.
That's right. So I'll just go. And I think I've seen footage of that song Baby I Know on YouTube. I don't know whether it was on Top of the Pops or whatever, but then when I watched the video and then I found out that it was the final single, I did actually feel quite sad inside, because the lyrics of the song, that's why I'm saying, was it like a goodbye kind of from the band? Because you can actually, in the lyrics of the song, it has got that goodbye in it.
Well, I think that's perhaps everyone's interpretation. I think It wasn't anything deliberate. It was just what we felt was a good record at the time, and everybody enjoyed it because, you know, well, the problem, I think most bands would probably acknowledge this or agree, is that, you know, from a critic's point of view or a reviewer or a DJ, whatever, they could say, you give them a new record and they might say, oh, that's different. Or they might go, oh, yeah, why don't they do what they should be doing and what we like? And so it's difficult to change, you know, because some people will say, oh, who do they think they are? They can't do that. And so you're a bit like in a rock and a hard place, you know, trying to get... Anyway, that's what we felt at the time. But I don't think that wasn't our last record, but it was our last chart entry.
Yes. And what was the last single that is released at?
Well, we've been doing them ever since, really, one way or another. So I'm actually lost count. I don't know. Our last one was our new one.
Excellent. Oh, but yeah, it's a beautiful song there. Baby I Know. Look out for that one from the Rubettes, and you'll be able to catch the video. Now, no problem at all. Absolutely, I think it's a lovely song. Now, are you surprised by how popular the debut single "Sugar Baby Love" is still so popular, with to date 6.9 million views on YouTube in 2024?
Wow, I didn't know that. I guess it's how things are now with social media and YouTube. People just are finding things all the time, you know, and suddenly, once you start looking, then it gives you suggestions, don't it? You might like this.
It does, that's right.
You can spend hours. You might, you know, go on YouTube at 9 o'clock at night and still be on at 3 a.m.
That's right.
And you've gone from one thing to another, and you think, wow, how did that happen? And it's just it's a great thing, I think. You do see a lot of interesting things, but there's the whole world is out there.
Exactly. And yeah, it definitely keeps you entertained. You can just look at the time and you go, oh my goodness, you've been watching things for hours, with all the wonderful music videos out there. And, well, I'm trying to do that thing with chatting with people like yourself there, Mick, you see.
Oh.
We want to spread the word and we want people to watch this channel as well,
Yeah, you're doing a great job, Phil. I'm really enjoying it.
Thank you very much. Now, today, your band Sugar Baby Loves is celebrating success with Born to Do It, with a modern sound that still takes you back. And I love the jukebox jive reference in the song. What inspired you to write the song?
Well, I didn't write it. It was written by, again, a drummer who's very prolific, but also with, in conjunction with a co-writer is Mike Voss, who's German.
Right.
And again, it was one of those fateful things. I think somehow Mike Voss contacted John and said that because of John's drumming, Mike Voss grew up as a kid and said, I used to love you watching your band.
Yeah.
They started talking, and then Mike Voss now is a top producer in Germany. Does a lot of just had a platinum album, I think, with the Scorpions.
Amazing.
And doing all sorts of things. And he sort of come up with this idea, and John helped him out with some of the lyrics because he's German and that. And then we sort of recorded it with the technology now, of doing a bit and then sending it over via the internet. And then we come up with Born to Do It.
It is absolutely amazing as well. And I've got to tell you something that I watched your video for Born to Do It on YouTube. And it certainly is a thrill to hear your music today, like it was yesterday, as I've coined some lyrics from the video there, as you can hear there. Did you have fun making the video?
Well, again, we just sort of done it because... again, with what you can do technology-wise, like what we're doing, we decided, right, how can we do this? It was not always convenient to sort of, because everybody lives in different areas now. So we decided to embrace the technology and see what we could come up with. And that's what we were actually working on another version now to try and then, like there's some bits that are not on it that we might be able to put on another one. But again, you've got all this software and stuff that is available, and it's just a matter of how much time you can take to sort of conjure up an idea, It's brilliant. I love it.
It's fabulous. I mean, the video there, the cars there, the old-fashioned car there, and also there's driving along in the car as well, singing along. I mean, it's just great. It's got everything that you need really these days in a video.
Yeah, I mean, the old days you'd go out with a film crew and it cost you about $100,000,
That's right. And half of the film would end up on the floor.
Yeah, and and sometimes you look back, you think, oh, they didn't get that right, and they did, but that's the nature of progress, if you like,
Yeah. So everyone will have to check that out there. So get yourself over to YouTube and look for Sugar Baby Loves Born to Do It. It's a great video. Now, the vinyl revival is here, so I must ask you, Mick, what was the first record you ever bought, and what record would you play me if you had a turntable beside you to put the needle on?
Oh, wow. Do you know what? I actually think the first record I was bought from me. My dad bought me an Elvis Presley record.
Wow.
And again, that was, I think, he knew because I was sort of loved music and that, and he just bought me something without knowing what it was. And it was a very early one, and it wasn't even one of the hits. It was a compilation, an EP. It was
an EP. Excellent.
Yeah.
That'd be worth a bit.
Yeah, and I've still got it. But and the funny thing was, he said to me, or a bit later, he come in with another record, and I went, "Wow, thanks, Dad." And he said, "I've heard you like this record. It was an Everly Brothers,
right?"
But he bought me the King Brothers version.
That's a bit of a change. Hilarious.
And I was sort of such a little kid. I went, "That's not the right one." Not years later, I thought, "Oh God, how terrible!" My dad had done something like nice for me.
Yeah.
And I'd sort of been the brat and said, "Well, I don't want to hear that. That's not the right version." He didn't know. He just bought the title.
That's right. Well, I've done that with records before, and I've thought, oh, that's got to be the one that I've heard on the radio, and then it ends up being something totally different.
Yeah.
A lot of the time it was out of the 50 pence box, though, so there you go.
Yeah. No, it was all I was going to say was always an excitement to get a record where you had physically had a record and you'd put it on, and
I mean, I'm surrounded by, while I'm speaking to you here now, I'm surrounded by records here, and we've even got some. This is a bit of advertising, like for people who are at home. I'm holding up a famous brand now.
Yeah.
If you can see. But yeah, I'm surrounded by records. We've got 78s here. We've got 7-inch singles. We've got albums by all sorts of people, and it's just, I just love it. I've always, it is, when I was younger, I was bought, I've probably told listeners this story before, but I was bought, from the top of me grandma and granddad's street, I was bought a record player, I was bought some from the second-hand shop, and I was bought these handful of records there, maybe 30 singles. There was the Beatles in there, Rolling Stones, everything.
Yeah.
Everyone has to join in the vinyl revival because it's the best thing that you can do. And these records here, they're going back, even the 78s, get collecting them, because I've got them going back to 1938.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, I'm on your side, absolutely. But the real irony, if you like, and I was talking to my friend yesterday, he said, I was talking about a song, he said, "I've got it on a CD." And I said, "Do you know what? I haven't got anything to play. I haven't even got a CD now."
Yeah, no.
I mean, I've got it in the other room, but it's not all connected up because, again, it's like another medium. There's just, because you just download it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I love the quality. I love the quality on the vinyl. You can definitely hear the difference. And I've noticed there's a song by Girls Aloud on that album, which I was showing Mick there to listeners there. And I played on my show the other week. I played "The Promise" by Girls Aloud, and it actually sounds absolutely amazing, because obviously they've had to knock the bass down, otherwise the needle would jump out the groove. But the vocals sound a lot better.
Yeah. No, someone explained it, a friend of mine who's not a geek, but yeah, a bit sort of, he tried to explain it, and he said it's like when you're looking at a CD as against the vinyl, you're looking at a sampled thing. He said, so it's like looking at the Mona Lisa with different bits taken out because you're not getting the whole picture.
Correct. That's right. Your musical landscape of your ears, you've got bits missing.
Yeah. And your ears can't really tell it, but when you hear vinyl, you go, wow, that's the difference.
Exactly.
You're hearing the whole thing as it was done.
That's right, because it's an art.
Yeah, and it's not sampled with bits, so many samples.
That's right. So would you consider releasing any of your music there, the Sugar Baby Loves on vinyl in the future?
I'm sure we would, but I'm not sure it'd be sort of an idea sort of from the financial side.
That's true. Yes,
That's the problem. I mean, these days the people, the record. I mean, I shouldn't knock them, but they don't have to do anything now, do they? Release something,
yeah,
and it's like when you go to book an airline ticket, you got to print your own blooming boarding card.
That's right. It is. But yes, I'm hoping the price of vinyl comes down soon in the future with it being so popular. But these record bakers, they're running 24 hours a day and there's not enough factories. We need to get more factories doing them, especially.
Something to think about. I mean, I'm sure it's a good idea. But again, it's what have the people actually got something to play it on?
Exactly. So yes, they'll have to invest in getting some more these turntables sorted, especially ones with 78s like I've got here.
I'll tell you what I've got over there. I've got a jukebox.
Have you? Wow. And is jukebox jive in there?
Yeah, it is, because it plays 45s, you know.
Excellent.
And it's great because you can go and play your records and it's not all hi-fi, but they've got that sort of magic sound and...
Oh, yes. The clicking and the drop. Oh, beautiful. Yeah. And then the needles going pop and it's straight on. Lovely. Yeah. And you're right back in time there, no matter what record's in there.
Yeah, and it's brilliant. And it's that magic. It was a magical period of the vinyl, wasn't it?
That's right. And yes, and the revival is on with us now, and long may it stay around as well.
Yeah.
Now, Mick, do you have any future releases or tours you can tell us about with Sugar Baby Loves?
Well, we just got a few dates in Europe coming up, and we've probably got some dates in the UK. But at the moment, it's like a lot of things now. It's where it used to be. I used to come up the northeast all the time.
Yeah.
Now everything's gone up except the cost that we can get.
Yes.
The cost of moving around and everything is like, wow, you know.
Yeah, but astronomical.
Hopefully we will do. Yeah, I mean, we've got plans for a new record and a follow-up record, and we're doing it because we enjoy doing it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the greatest thing as well. You'll have to get yourself up to the northeast, and I'll have to come and see you. That'd be great.
Absolutely, it'd be brilliant. Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully in the future there.
Yeah.
Now, where can listeners follow Sugar Baby Loves? Have you got any social media there or a website?
We've got a website, sugarbabyloves.com. I think it's .uk. I'm not sure, but if you look it out, it'll come up, and we've got. Just being organised over the recent months, so it's up and running as far as I know, but being updated all the time.
Excellent.
With photos and videos and records and stuff. So, yeah.
Excellent. And you'll have to get some of those, you'll have to get some copies of them suits there on there as part of your merchandise. I'll have that one there on the left. Get me a copy.
The ones I've got packed away, I've got blue, yellow, red. It was like, at the time, it was like every time we done the top of the pops, it was a different outfit, you know, to try and keep moving, you know.
Indeed, yes. Keep in with the fashion of the other artists that are on there, so you aren't upstaged.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially with Noddy Holder with his glitter hat and all that carry on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we did a tour with Noddy and Slade in the 70s in Germany.
Excellent.
And it was us, Slade, and Pussycat, who are from Holland.
Oh yes, with Mississippi.
Yeah. So we got to know the guys. Yeah, really good guys and that. Yeah, brilliant.
Excellent.
Memories there anyway.
Fabulous memories. That's amazing. Well, I'm still trying to get Noddy Hold on the show, but there's no response yet. Maybe you'll have to put a word in his ear there.
Okay, if I get him, I'll tell him you've got to go and see Phil.
That's right, Phil Wilson there. Yeah, Phil Wilson.
What about, have you had Dave on? Dave Hill?
I haven't had Dave Hill on yet. No, not yet. We'll have to try and get him on.
Okay,
be
well,
great.
I'll put in a word for him because I'm obviously know him more because he's still going with his band. But
Right.
he's not in it, but yeah, he's still going.
Excellent. That'll be fabulous. So look forward, listeners, to or maybe Dave Hill or Noddy Holder coming on the show soon. Now, are you planning to release, well, I've already said this actually, are you planning to release any of your current music on vinyl? Do you think it was something that, have you got lots and lots of material there that you could maybe put on an album?
We've probably got enough material. I'm not sure we've got enough buyers.
Well, everyone has to get across to your website there, sugarbabyloves.com or .co.uk.
Perhaps I'll check it out, find out how it actually works. Because the good thing was with vinyl, especially an album, you got the album, you got the sleeve, the notes and everything, and it was something to hold, weren't it,
I think that's what people are into now. They want to have something physical there that they can either, a lot of people use it, get albums, and they actually put it in a frame, and it's album art, they call it.
Yeah, well, there we are, yeah.
So, yeah. So, yes, maybe something to consider there. And don't forget where Phil Wilson is, because Phil Wilson plays the vinyl on his Vinyl Revival, and he would love a first copy.
Okay, you're on the...
Maybe with a little squiggle on.
Yeah, you're actually top of the list, mate.
Excellent. That's great, Mick. Well, unfortunately, Mick, we've run out of time, so it just leaves me to say thank you so much for joining me on the show, Mick, and I'd like you to give all the best to everyone in the band there. I know that Born to Do It is going to be a massive success, and especially there with it going in the heritage charts there, we need to get all these singles to #1 on there. I know that for sure in the future. But thank you so much, Mick, for joining me, and would it be possible for you to introduce your latest single, Born to Do It, from Sugar Baby Loves?
Well, you're listening to Phil Wilson. And don't forget to check out Phil Wilson's Vinyl Revival. And this is Born to Do It from the Sugar Baby Loves.
That's excellent. Thank you so much for joining me on the show, Mick. If you stick around, we'll have a chat in a bit. And yes, here is the latest single. Thank you so much, Mick. Would you like to come on the show, by the way, again, or have I frightened you away?
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I've really enjoyed it.